Hola. Greta. How are you, darling? Fleur de Lis. I love that name. Hi, Greta. I know. I bought this. We call this color saumon in French, and it is like salmon. It's very appropriate, right? Because that's about the color of salmon. Anyway, I am reporting from the Albrook Mall, and I'll tell you how I ended up here. The Albrook Mall is one of my favorite places, and right now I am in one of my favorite spots. I'm on the second floor at one of the food courts, you could call it, right? You can see food eateries, you know, like a regular mall, all around. They have games for the kids. And down here, they're having some kind of, I don't know what that is. Where is it? Oh, I got to show it to you. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. But anyway, it is, I am next to this place called Don Pun, which is like an eatery where you can buy stuff really cheap. So I just had a cappuccino for $1.25, all foamy. And there is another little thing. I've been fasting all day, and it is it's about 4:15. So I'm having something that you, Greta, might know what it is. It said tequeño. I've never had it, but it's like a bready thing. And I know I'm staying away from carbs. It had this thing in it. And if you know me, I don't do hot dogs. They call them salchichas. Salchichas. But anyway, I finished the website today. The SWRA website. I could not find the name SWRA. It was not available. So I decided to go with retired, what is it? Living, single and retired abroad.com. That's it. No cinnamon bun. Oh, no. I don't get close to that. Cinnamon bun is just too sweet. They do have them here. You know, it's a mall, just like they have, what is that thing that people love to eat? Krispy Kreme, yes. The last time I had Krispy Kreme, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Usually it's because someone brought it in. I never buy that. But anyway, by the time I finish getting my classes ready for tomorrow, sending them their notes, their assignment, their Zoom link, then I said, okay, of course I had our workout this morning, right? Then I said, okay, I need to finish this website today. So I gave it one last look over. I work with this guy out of Pakistan. I had another website made by somebody from there. So it's always like, do you I couldn't afford the prices of developers here or in the States. So, but it turned out really good. I had to make multiple edits. Sometimes I fuss that they don't understand when I say, no, this is a group of mostly African American women, and they'll put a picture of some Caucasian looking people. I'm like, no, look at the logo that our friend Greta did for us. But anyway, finally, the last edit, it looked good. The colors, I had to fuss over the colors. He had some bright purple colors. I'm like, no, it hurts my eyes. Well, I'm glad I did not lose hope with him, because I fired some before. But it looked good, right? And he was able to put all my stuff on there, like my ebooks, and so he did a pretty good job. But then I use not GoDaddy, I use Squarespace for my hosting company, because they really understand merch, which means when I start to sell stuff on the website, like shirts and hats and stuff that I want to do, then they can handle that better. It's all linked to Stripe, which I already use. So they give me like a funny name for the website, and I'm like, there's no way I can leave that website, even though it's free for life. But it was like baby, boozy, whatever. Really weird. So I know I needed to buy another domain. And of course, I wanted it to say SWRA or single women. Believe it or not, SWRA.com was not available. I'm like, who's using my name? Apparently, it's an acronym, right? Because that means somebody else could be using it for, it could be simple, whatever, right? It doesn't have anything to do with my ladies. There was another name that was free, and when they say free, it's only for the first year, because you buy it on a 3-year contract. It was www.swra, and I'm like, am I gonna say www.swra? No bueno. So I settled on single and retired abroad, and I think it kind of broadens it up a little bit, but I stuck with it. So I paid for 3 years at $20 a year. That's pretty good for hosting and holding the name. So I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to post the link on the YouTube page. But because I just now bought the name, and of course you had to confirm via email that it's not, a dangerous link. But Google, when I clicked on it, Google is like, alert, alert, it could be dangerous. I'm like, I just bought it, it's mine. So it's okay, but I understand some people may be a little bit concerned about it. So if you click on it and it gives you like an alert, just leave it alone and wait for a few days. But Greta was able to look into it, and Greta gave her stamp of approval. So I'm so happy. Thank you, Greta. So I'm saying right now, if you're looking for some kind of logo, hit up my friend Greta, okay? Because she, with her AI knowledge, was able to create a logo that really portrays what my SWRA is about. And I'm very super happy. The diversity, the colors pop. To tell the guy, you know what he did, Greta? He had the logo on the left and then the banner on the same page. He's like, why would you have the logo and the banner? I'm telling you, these men, you got to pray for them. I'm like, no. Why can't you see it doesn't work? And then I have to say, okay, shh, they don't get it. Take that off. But the thing is, before we published the site, I was able to go in there and do some edit, right? So it's got pages about what SWRA is and multiple links. It talks about the history of SWRA and it talks about how to book a consultation, how to order the ebook. It's got a section about the merch. It says upcoming. And then we're going to have a section for members only, SWRA members only. And then it also had an area talking about the history of SWRA, that it started in Panama, but it says open to global chapters. I am so excited. This is something I had on my list to do for 2026. So that is check. And of course, I'm going to keep improving it. We're going to have a blog on there. We're going to have a newsletter, because I've been trying to build my mailing list. And you know, your mailing list is gold, right? So, oh, I'm so excited. And then we are going to go for a trademark of the name Single Women Retiring Abroad. So we're going to trademark that, and then we will be good. So, you know, with our merch, we have all kind of ideas. I do have a merch store already, and it only has 3 items on it. The t-shirts, it's got a gray, a white, and a black. It looked pretty good. First of all, I said put the logo here, and he put it over here. So we'll see how that works. And of course, you have to have a mug, even though I don't want to have a mug. I'd rather have like tumblers. So this is just the beginning for the merch. I'm so excited about that. And another sister said you can have calendars with SWRA on it. You can have caps with SWRA, but kind of fancy looking. But I'm also looking to incorporate some of the cultural ideas here. You know, like we have mola is a big thing in Panama. You know, stuff with mola on them, just like Greta was able to incorporate some mola motifs in the logo. Well done, sis. So I'm so excited about that. But anyway, after I did that, I said, okay, I have some time. It's Friday. I don't have a class today, and I'm ready for my classes tomorrow. Oh, I haven't decided what we're going to talk about for the live tomorrow, since I'm back on doing stickers. Yes, that's what, one of them, we get stickers on the website right now. So when I get home, I'm going to try to link it up, see if I can do it from the dashboard. Link the merch store. We have stickers, t-shirt, and a mug. Those are the only 3 items I have on right now. So stickers. And I'm like, you only have 1 sticker? He said, yes. I'm like, oh, okay. And you know, the whole time, Greta, I was setting up that website, it was all AI. I mean, you ask a question, can you take me here? Can you take me there? Oh my God. This AI stuff is crazy. So helpful. You know, you don't have to call customer service. Whoever was there answered all the questions. And then they're like, would you like me to take you there? Would you like me to do this? And I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you reading my mind like that? Oh, it's kind of scary. But it is so awesome. But anyway, I mean, people have, I'm thinking of doing like, you know, like some of the hats with the overhang for a lot of sun here in Panama, and put a logo on it. They have some chef's hat. You know, when you are cooking, you're supposed to cover your hair. So it's like it's got the chef hat, and then it's got the mola Panama motif right here. I'm like, yes, we can have headbands, right? Also, I want to put on the merch side some aprons, right? Hola from Houston. How are you, Patricia? And so if you have any ideas, you know, we can try different things and then see how they sell. And then that's what we're going to do. And then once we start making some money, I would like to have like a non-profit associated with SWRA to help women causes. Because this is something I've always said to myself. I said, you know, God has not given me money or made me a millionaire. But if I had money, I think single women and older women would be the groups that I would support the most. You know, buy a car for a single mom with kids, um, paying for some kids' books or whatever, education, scholarships. I'd like to do all that. And I said to God, I said, you know my heart. Why don't you give me some millions? You know I would manage it well. But he said, no, not yet. Oh, this is such a good day. So after I finished all that, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, all right. We still have half the day left. I said, okay. The other day I was here at the terminal and I saw people going down another platform. And I thought it was, they had started the third line because they've been working on the third line for our metro system. And you know, I should have known because I'm so connected to the news and what's happening. I hadn't heard anything. So I would have heard. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I even did a little intro that I was going to go to Albrook and film me getting on that train going to La Chorrera, which is in Oeste, in the west of the city. So I got to Albrook and went down that platform and then realized I know they were talking about, you know, like a month ago, they were opening more, not lines, but more routes to be able to support the increased traffic. And that's what they did. They just have more trains. So they have train coming on both sides because it's Friday afternoon. So you have a lot of people. In fact, I got on, I'm like, what is it, a holiday or something? No, so many people. So usuarios, we call them, you know, like the riders, usuarios. All right, great. I'm going to ask for that word tomorrow. Usuarios. So I said, oh, so it was going to take me back home the way I came. So I got off at my stop and then came back. I said, okay, I don't want to stay home today. Let me go back to Albrook, and if they have like a movie that I can watch. But in Panama, they have 2 companies. You know, like you have AMC and something else in the States. Here they have Cinepolis and they have Cinemark. So here at Albrook is Cinemark. And I know I said I wanted to see the movie where Rock is singing. The Rock. Is it Moa or Mona? You know, that kind of cartoon. I like cartoon movies. I enjoy them better than some of these, you know, violent and stuff. I don't care for that. But so I said, okay, I'm going to come up. I'm not going to spend any money. I think I'm pretty much, you know, my list is getting smaller. I need a couple of shams and stuff, but I don't need to buy anything. So I went up to the movie area and they did not have any movie that I want. It's all about fighting and cartoonish and what do they call those? Sci-fi. I don't care for those movies. So I'm like, okay, good. Because I was starting to think, oh, if I go to the movies, I'm going to want some popcorn and that's no bueno. So I didn't get to go and I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm telling you, I passed 2 places where I usually get some pastries. I didn't. But this little thing that I got here, and it's still like this much. So I probably won't even finish that. So I'm doing good. I did good today. But what I wanted to chat about today, in addition to being in my favorite spot, watching people go by, I just absolutely love that. Let's see if you guys can see. Oh, is it down there? What is it that they're doing there? Oh, there it is. It's like people, it's like a game. They're throwing things in a hole. You know, Panamanians find a way to enjoy themselves, whatever it is. But, so I'm sitting here. It's nice and cool. And I always tell people, if you want to get your steps, you know, I've already done my workout this morning. I did like 80 jumping jacks. So when I came here, I've already got up 5 flights of stairs. Listen, I told you I lost 42 pounds when I went whole food plant-based in 2022. I think 2022, after COVID. Don't forget the like button, guys. Thank you. So after I came back from South Africa, and the diet, I didn't like it. I think I slacked off a little bit, and I could look at myself. I'm like, what is happening? And of course, my sensitivity to wonderful, my sensitivity to gluten, carbs just got worse. So every time I think I can eat the stuff ad lib, I can't. So bread, pasta, rice, no bueno. And the thing is, if I cheat with one little thing, but usually it's not one. So that was like, no. So finally I said, my birthday is coming up. I need to get back on track, right? So I'm still doing the 3 times a week, but I try to go to the gym a lot more. But here now in this season of life, for me, when I want to lose some pounds, working out alone doesn't work for me anymore. I have to cut the carbs and definitely some fasting. Not just intermittent, but water fast. So I was saying that I feel it's harder for me now to do fasting. But if I make myself do one day, if I can go to bed after fasting for the whole day and wake up the next morning on day 2, it's a lot easier. For me, that first day is key. So I started Monday, and on Monday, what did I do? I didn't have coffee. I had like I had a jar with some leftover olives, and I had that, and that was day 1. Day 2, I wonder if I cheated and I had something to eat. I don't remember. But I know Wednesday I did good. And then yesterday, Thursday, I knew I was going to have lunch with the ladies. So I had a soup. So I did good. And then when I got home later on that day, Monday I didn't fast because Monday I finished my salad. Scratch that. I started Tuesday. So yesterday I had the soup for lunch. I had a coffee, and then when I got home later on, I had a couple of eggs with the rest. I had some leftover kale. I tossed it in in a pan with some peppers. I had some yellow peppers, a piece of yellow pepper, and I had that. So I'm like, okay, that's not bad, right? Because I had no carbs in it. But I realize now with kale that I never liked. After making that salad on Sunday, I am sold. I can have kale in a salad raw, right? But got to make sure, like I did, I soaked it, and I soaked it in vinegar and baking soda for like a good 20 minutes, and then rinse it, shook it, and then feeling safe to eat it. But sauteed, I don't care for it, so I'm not going to do that anymore. So I had that last night. So this morning I had a cup of coffee, and that's all I had. So now I'm breaking the fast with this little tequila. But that's not bad. And I'm going to go home. I don't have any food in the house. I mean, cooked food. No cooked food. And let me tell you, the fact that I just did 5 flights of steps and I'm feeling good. About a month ago, I'd be walking to the metro station and I'd be short of breath, and I'm like, what is this? This is not me. It started to remind me my post-COVID time when my lungs were shot after having COVID. So I'm like, oh no. So that's why I had to do a reset, including no carbs, pretty much, water. I kind of cheat when I get the coffee, or I should have green tea unsweetened. But then, you can't fast every single day. That's not safe. And before you fast, you have to check with your doctor, make sure it's okay. Remember, I'm a nurse practitioner, so I know what I'm doing. And I listen to my body, and I'm not diabetic. I don't have any other thing to worry about. but I just wasn't myself. I was short of breath, and I told you I went to Peru and was really winded after going a little hill, and that shouldn't happen. Because for me, when I'm carrying extra weight, I don't feel good. I feel heavy. I feel sluggish. So the moral of the story for you ladies is know your body. Know when you veer off course. I don't have a scale in my house. When I move, I give away my scale. I say I don't want that. I go by the way my clothes fit and the way I feel. And no one needs to tell you you're carrying extra weight. You know, sis, if you've gone off the rail, you know that. So I don't have a scale. Teenagers having fun there. I don't have a scale, and I go by how I feel. And I have a full-length mirror in my bedroom. You know that keeps you humble. When you get out of the shower, just stand there and like, oh no, right? Yeah. And of course, I'm going to be 68, so I do not expect perfection. But I am happy with the progress. I think I've lost like maybe 10, but I'm not going to get on a scale. I am not. I'm trying right now to get an appointment to go see a doctor. And next week, I'm going to get some labs. And of course, I want my labs to look okay. And of course, you're going to put me on the scale. I know. But, at this age, I don't dread it because, I told you I weighed 117 pounds when I got married. Then within 6 months, I had gained 8 pounds. I was 125. After each child, I kept like 5 pounds. And my best weight as an adult, mother of 2, was 137. I know I'm not 137 now. My last weight was it 165? And to think that from the time I had these 3 kids and from the weight that I was when I was a teenager, it's humbling. That means, let's see, 40 pounds? Putting on where? But trust me, because I look at some pictures of myself maybe 30 years ago, I was swollen, not 30, maybe 20. I just wasn't looking good. But I did not know that, because you can tell. If you start losing weight, you're going to lose it in the face, in the cheeks, right? And in your legs, your shoes start, slipping on a lot easier. Sis, But I'm saying I'm on a journey. My birthday is coming up on the 9th of July. And I'm hoping, like yesterday, I have like, it's a pantsuit, one piece that I had bought, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. No, because around Christmas, when the holidays, I wore it. And it was fine. And then I think 2 months ago, I tried to put it on and the buttons were, I'm like, oh my God. That's why you cannot not pay attention. So yesterday I put it on. It felt better. But I think if I get off like 10 more pounds, it's just going to be whoop, whoop. And that's what I want. I feel the best when I'm lighter. So that's for me. I don't know what your goal is. And when somebody says, oh, don't fast, I'm like, I have plenty of reserves, trust me. Like I look at my fridge, I have fish, I have beans, I got all kinds of stuff I could be eating. So I am just controlling myself. Once I get started, it's a lot easier. So that's my story. So I'm sitting here. It's about almost 4:45. And I'm just enjoying the view, the people, and just relaxing. You can ask me any questions you want. Panama, we are in the throes of FIFA, football, World Cup. Every day, everywhere you go, there's a lot of screen TV, everybody's watching. Panama played Ghana this week and we lost in the very, we're already at 90 minutes. They were like just playing extra time and we lost there. And I think the coach, I'm holding him responsible because these kids were tired after 90 seconds. And I think he should have put in the bench, the people who have been on the bench. I remember when my son was playing, he used to be on the bench, so that was the most painful thing to watch because they were fresh. And these Africans, they are over there in the mountain, up and down. Their endurance is much better. I knew that. So we lost 1-0, and that was sad. Everybody had their red shirts, and I mean, it's a whole campaign in the whole country. The day of the game, they shut all the government offices. And the game was at 6 p.m. The president said, we want you to get time to enjoy the day. That's Panama for you. I'm like, you could work till 5 or 4. Nope, they shut down all the government offices. But the other thing I wanted to share with you, the reason a lot of people love being here in Panama forces you to relax. Malling, I call it, is a pastime here. Going to the mall like I'm sitting here, right? In the US, I used to love to go malling on Sunday after church. I would go to one of the major malls in Orlando. I would get a latte, an expensive latte from Starbucks, and just sit there and people watch. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I like to do that at the airport too. When I'm traveling, I get there early and just sit there and watch the people. But in Panama, it is a pastime. People love to come to the mall, like yours truly. And then you just walking, everybody is just having fun. They're just strolling around, buying. And of course, in this mall, by the way, it is the largest mall in Latin America. I don't know if you knew that. It's got more stores than most of the malls. Hey, Greta, I see you sent me something. I can't check yes. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same with Mexico, right? But you just walk. You know what I wanted to say though? I used to love to go to the mall, but then I stopped going when they started shooting people at the malls. But here in Panama, that doesn't even cross your mind. So you're just there for the moment, watching families, the kids. And on the weekends, if you go to a mall, you're going to see throngs of families. And I'm talking the whole familia. Grandparents, cousins, sisters, brothers, grandkids, everybody. Or they'll go to the mall, or they're all eating out. It's just, and you just, no care in the world. And that's why a lot of people are leaving and going to places where you can breathe. You go to Thailand. One sister I have left Panama. She didn't like Panama, so she went to Thailand. And they have this expensive, when I say expensive, like big pools and stuff, and she's in there, and the view is unrestricted, and the pool kind of goes into the sea. Oh my God, we don't have that here. But Panama is pretty good. And I'll tell you, I think about, people say, oh, are you going to stay in Panama forever? Well, forever is a long word that I don't have any control over forever. I don't know what that means, right? I keep myself open. But right now, when I think about it, I think about Mexico, Greta, and I said, I'd love to visit Mexico. I don't think I'd want to live there because I'm not a taco person. I don't like tacos. I don't want my meal just wrapped in tortillas. I just don't. So that would be a challenge for me. That means I'd have to, cook my own food, which I could. But I know it's a gorgeous country. I mean, I watched some of the stunning pictures, the sea, the mountains. Ooh, I know I'd love it. And the language, right? But I feel good here. I think one of the hardest thing for us older women in Panama has to be the healthcare. And don't let people fool you about healthcare is great. The cup is what's holding my phone. So I have to hold the phone. Because, I'm not going to come here and put a tripod on the table. No, I want to be conspicuous. But anyway, I think the hardest thing, I'm saying, not everybody might not agree with me, right? Look here, I've been here 3.5 years. I'm just now, I have the paperwork, printed the form to get health insurance because it was just a should I, should not. I have been blessed, thank God, haven't been sick. I've had a cold maybe once or twice, but just sniffles and that's it. I've never been to a doctor. I've been here. I don't need to see a doctor. I'm managing my blood pressure. I don't have diabetes. I have no chronic illnesses. And I raise my hand to the sky to say thank you, right? And I'm not a hypochondriac. I know so many sisters, the moment they sneeze, they go see a doctor. Sisters have spent money having like a health genetic thing, and then they get a whole report that says this and that and this and that. And if you want to know if you have a genetic predisposition for this, and how old are you? You in your 70s? What do you need to know that at that age? Something's going to happen regardless. So that's why I say I'm going to go see this doctor and I'm going to say, listen, you've heard me say that before. That's me. Don't prod me and ask me to do screening for this, screening for that. Something is bound to brewing. If it doesn't bother me, leave it alone. And if I can't find a doctor like that, then I'm going to be in trouble because they're going to have to respect my choices. I don't want to be looking for things. Sisters are taking infusion for this, infusion for that. And I keep saying, if you are health conscious, you watch what goes in your body. You make sure it is as clean as possible. You think about it. Every time you do this, think about it. You stay active. You try to get enough sleep. Hola. Me. ¿Cómo estás? So I think if you are very conscious of your health. Now, that doesn't mean if you have chronic illnesses, you don't manage it. A lot of chronic illnesses, you have lupus, you have diabetes, hypertension. You have to pay attention, right? And one doctor here, he's been giving some of the ladies infusion to kind of detoxify them. That's perfectly fine. But personally, I know what to do. Like I just had a message from this guy. I met him in the gym. And then I'm like, hey, he's a brother, right? Because he's like the South. You acknowledge, we exchange numbers. And I'm like, are you a trainer, right? Because he was in the gym. And he said, oh yeah, I'm helping these athletes. Well, I'm like, well, that's great. Let's exchange numbers because I know some sisters want to work with the trainer. I said, I'll be happy to share your number with the sister. So he just sent me a message. It's like, oh, if you need help with your health or whatever, hit me up. And I'm like, brother, I got it. You need to go over here. I'll share your number with some other people. I know what to do. If I don't do it, it's because I'm not paying attention and I don't do the things that I know to do. But I know what to do. And I'm not being conceited. I went to school a lot for what I know. So, but anyway, you talk about the mall and look at that. This family sitting here, they're all having ice cream. That's Panama for you, okay? Everybody's still walking around with their red shirt. Even though we lost, the love for the team is still strong because, we just started the FIFA. So there are a lot more games to play. I mean, if Panama goes further, it's going to be a surprise because they're not at that level in terms of being a team. Remember, I'm Caribbean. I know soccer. I don't know any other games. I don't understand baseball, football. I just know touchdown. That's all I know. Nothing else. But anyway, the healthcare system has to be the thing I find that maybe not young like mini me here, but older people in their 70s, 80s, the healthcare system definitely is a challenge. So the plan that I'm going to sign up for is a discount plan. It doesn't cover everything 100%. No plan does that these days, okay? Because, if I ever return and go over there and something happens to me, I do have the Medicare Advantage, right? Some people have concern. Listen, we all have concern about everything. If you end up in a hospital somewhere over there, you put your life in your hand. If you get out in one piece without an infection, that's a surprise, because my patients that I had, they have a knee surgery, then they get up an infection, they have hardware issue. It's not pretty. So don't let anybody fool you that the care that you get over there is the best. We all know that's not true. But here the doctors are caring. The only thing is that you're going to pay. So the discount plan, it's kind of structured almost like an HMO PPO. You have to stay within the group, and you have to use that hospital. My hospital is going to be San Fernando. There is another program that is also a discount plan. It's the one with Hospital Santa Fe. But I'm kind of about the location of that hospital, and it is a private hospital. The hospital associated with my plan is going to be, they're JACO certified and they're stroke certified, so I feel better at that hospital. And they also offer a funeral, $10,000, they'll pay for your funeral. So that takes care of me having to sign up for a funeral plan, the cremation plan, which is what a lot of our sisters are buying from a funeral home. So I could probably sign up and then get reimbursed, or my family get reimbursed from the insurance company. But here in Panama, you pay for primary care, your screening, and if you go in the hospital, the plan said they're going to pay the first $500, and then whatever else the charges are, they pay 70%, you pay 30%. And I'm like, well, that's not bad. Especially they cover things like, they have a cancer plan for like $70 a year. And I'm like, yeah, I'm signing up for that. And then I wanted to go see this particular doctor to do my physical. And I don't know, I was looking for that doctor, and it turns out she is a Minimed doctor. I'm like, oh, I've been resisting signing up for Minimed. But I finally signed up because I want to go see that doctor to get my physical done. And then for $200 a year, it's just like if something happens that I don't need to go to an ER. I don't know. I don't think I need Minimed. But you get a discount on your labs and stuff like that. So, and then I have another plan. It's called Assistance at Home, where the doctors will come to your house. Someone said, I think Mini said, Minimed also will send somebody to see you at home. But anyway, so after this plan, I'm going to be covered between Medicare Advantage. If I ever need some surgery that is not covered by my plan, then I can always go to that major hospital, but I have to pay and then submit my claim. It's complicated. That's what I'm trying to tell people. When you come into Panama as an older person, you need to understand it's not cut and dry. Your health care, that should be your priority. You're not like me. You're not a medical person to know how to navigate or to advocate for yourself, which you should do. And people also have said, well, Miss Maggie, why don't you become an advocate for people? Well, first of all, I don't want that responsibility. And number two, I'm really not supposed to work in Panama. So if I am providing a service on the ground, then I'm out of compliance, and I don't want to do that. I want to stay within the law. That's why everything I do is online. I can counsel you as an online consultation, yes. But to be underground, being an advocate for people, I can't do that, right? But if you want to do anything, get some counseling online, yes. Or to tell you what to do, yes. I went to a couple of doctor's appointments with the sister. And I did it out of the goodness of my heart. She did send me something online, and I'm like, you didn't have to. And I'm like, but thank you. But I can't, start a business underground. I have an idea for a business, but so now I'm more into, now that I have the website up, my consultations are there, my Spanish courses are on there. I want to do a couple more things that are digital product. And who knows? I say that my dream job is not dream job, but something I'd like to do is for someone to invite me as a contributor to a kind of a culinary something. That's a dream of mine. I have another idea for a business that includes, must be a game on. Utilizing all the people who are retired but are highly skilled. So I have an idea for that. And I don't want to get involved into the details of co-living. I want to just provide information and a forum for people to find each other if they want to co-live, because I do believe that co-living could be very useful for older people who want to control their expenses. But living in the same house with someone else, it's difficult. It's not something I'm looking at doing right now. I was totally against it like about a year ago, and now I'm softening up a little bit. But I think it's a whole different ballgame, I don't know. I'm hoping I get to a point financially that I don't have to consider that. But I do know it is a way for some seniors to reduce their cost of living and have enough money on the side to pay for care as they get older. That's what I'm looking at. So I am here waiting for you guys to ask me some questions. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about tomorrow, let me know. It's not too busy here today. It's not a weekend. So I am drinking this coffee late. I'm usually on. Greta, I almost had a big old mess here. I'm usually on at 4 p.m. Same time. Now, the people who watched my video about the free Spanish class, they really liked it. And they're like, oh, I had this, I couldn't participate. When the next class? What I thought I would do is that, okay, I'm gonna hold this because this cup, because I'm drinking the coffee, the cup is becoming light. I thought I would alternate. So I did the class last Saturday. So tomorrow, I want to do the mental health thing, about relocating, the stress of going through the process, and what happens when you get here. Yesterday during our meetup, we had a sister who is a mental health counselor, and she talked to us, even though things didn't work out so well logistically, The restaurant we were at did not have the cable to help us projector on the large screen. So she was using my laptop, and then I took my little speakers, and it turned out they were like, they didn't work. So it was really hard to listen to her. And then we only had her for like 15-20 minutes. So the ladies are like, can you ask her to come back out? But what she talked about, I'm a mental health person too. And she's in practice. I'm not. This is something that even if you retire, you could still do online, right? But she talked about how change, like retirement, moving abroad, in addition to all the stresses that we have, can be something that kind of triggers your internal system, right? And she even talked about people who are over here have relocated, but trying to adjust to the new normal and grieving what is lost, which is something that I talk about sometime in my videos. So we'll talk about those things tomorrow. More of the emotional, it's Juneteenth today, and everything that we remember in our memories and how that affects us. Yeah. And after she went off yesterday, we had a nice little chat as sisters, saying how we all have a story, we all have things that have happened to us in our past. And I stress how important it is to peel the layers and acknowledge the things that have happened, because until you look back and see why your life is the way it is, why you respond the way you respond, why you have trouble with this or that, look to the source, and then you can move forward. The act of forgiving somebody who might have hurt you. So we can talk about some of that tomorrow. And then I thought the next one would be, let's see, the Spanish class, the mental health, and then co-living. If people wanted to talk about more about co-living, and then we just alternate those three, unless there is like a burning question before Saturday that might make me change. But they're looking for the next Spanish class. And it's funny, the people who stick to my class is one group, and then you have the other groups who want the free classes. But I'm like, I can't give you everything that I give my students, and that wouldn't be fair to them, right? So, but giving them phrases, conversation, and I think I went a bit deep last Saturday. So I just can't be too superficial. So they got a good thing out of me. And I give so many things for free, on my channel. So another thing that I'm going to put on the website, I'm going to have a section I'm going to call free resources, where people can download, the checklist and all that. Because now they are on the YouTube, somewhere on the YouTube channel, and some people may have a hard time finding them. So now we're going to direct people, and I'm going to put a link to the new website. I'm so excited. 3 years in the making, right? But I think it was important that we had taken the time to really clarify who we are as a group, and I think we've done that. And that's why I say also that I stay in my lane. I don't want to say I'm going to be showing you apartments, I'm going to be into real estate, or I'm going to talk about travel and stuff like that, even though, I'm supposed to be a travel companion, but I haven't done anything with that yet. No one has asked to hire me, which is fine. Like I say, you keep throwing things on the wall, something's going to stick. But what we want to do is stick to SWRA. And hopefully SWRA is going to become a global, there's a goal. You hear it? Oh yeah. And SWRA can become a global something. I don't know what we're going to call it. But we can start chapters around the world. But we really have to It's almost going to be like, what do we call that? When you have a store, you say it's, it's like a chain store. So we're hoping that SWRA is going to be something like that. So that's why we need to trademark the name so that nobody else can use that. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. And the supportive environment, the sisterhood, to drill in our values of compassion, respect, love. Yes, that's important. Because I think that's the only way we're going to survive living to be 105 without draining our resources or killing our adult children and making them resent us for having to take care of us for so long, because we're just not dying, we're living longer. You're not living to be 65, 70. You're going to hang around till 95. That's a whole different ballgame. Your children did not sign up for that. So that's why we're here trying to design it for ourselves. So that we say, you can come visit me, but you're not responsible for me. I don't want to put that on you. Yep. So we're going to keep our nose to the ground, talk about aging, relocating to wherever, how to find each other, or how to set up your sisterhood. Yes. Because that's important. Right? All right. Anything else? Don't forget to hit the like button, por favor. Global Blueprint for Single Women. Sounds good, Greta. You could be an ambassador, Greta. There's somebody else in Mexico who offered to be a representative for our group. But, we'll have the main website, and then we can have subsections of different, chapters. I'm dreaming big now. And then saying Albania chapter, Mexico chapter, whatever, Portugal or whatever. And then I think even USA, I would let them have one. Why not? We're not stingy. If something is good and it works, we want to share it. But we still struggle with some sisters and what they're really looking for, and sometimes they're like, no, it's too tight. Some sisters say we have too many rules. If I say you're not going to talk to each other like that, no, that's unkind. Some get upset, but they can be upset, but I will hold it up. Because I can't just tell one person that what you said wasn't really kind and then let it go for another person. We're not doing that. And you didn't get to be this old. You joined SWRA. I know. But you know what, Greta? They do have communities that are looking for each other to grow all together. The tiny homes, communities. Somebody reached out to me here and said, do you think a tiny home concept would work in Panama? I said, of course. Build it, they'll come. Because people are looking for community. Having a neighbor that's going to come knock on your door and see how you're doing. And you are not a mile apart. That's the thing. The closeness is important. That's why right now in Panama, we're doing the clusters. We want you to be close enough. I can walk to your place and check on you if you need me to. Right? Because we're not in the position right now to have homes. My house hasn't sold. I can't buy anything even if I wanted to. But I'm still not sure I would want to buy anything anywhere. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I still feel if I had some money, I wouldn't want it to be tied up into real estate. And then thinking, what happens to it when I die? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It would take some convincing for me to buy anything right now. I'm not ready to do that. Yeah. But I think people anywhere, even in the USA, are looking for community, like-minded sisterhood. Like-minded is important. And because what you say, like you say, not everybody, and then plus, they're going to put their noses into your business and start demanding this, demanding that. That's something to think about. So we may or may not even consider that. Because we've left, we don't want to go back underneath this. Leave us alone. Let us live out the rest of our days. And then the idea is to live in community and live simply and affordably, right? So that when my sister Greta said, I have a headache, I don't feel good, I'll step in, I'll come bring you some soup, just chat with you, reduce the isolation. That's what we're talking about. And people have to be committed to the process, that it's not just talk. But when it comes to doing it, that we are there for each other. So that's the goal. That is the goal. But in the meantime, also, if we get to a point where we have a nonprofit or a place where we can take care of our sisters and we have the resources, yep, because we don't want any sister to feel so, and of course you got to kind of have, that's what I'm looking for, parameters, so you don't have someone abusing the system, because there's sisters out there like that too. They'll hand out, give me. It's like, oh, no, it doesn't work that way. So you have to have a way to vet whether the needs are real or not. And you can't be helping one or two and then keeping out the rest. And, you got to be careful. So it's a lot to think about and to design. But I'm very good at researching and taking my time. I don't jump into things without thinking them through, right? So if you think through what you're doing, you reduces the risk of failure, I guess, and make sure you have legal counsel. So you make sure you always stay on the right side of the law. Because I don't know how to fake or take chances or skirt around under the table. It's like even at home here in Panama, I don't hire housekeepers. I do my own cleaning. And if I needed someone to clean my house, I'm going to go through a company. I'm not hiring people under the table. Not doing it. I've always been like that. I don't take chances with things. Nope. Alrighty, guys. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It's been over 30 minutes. Oh, an hour. Oh no. I'm going to go off and see you ladies and gents tomorrow at 4. Alright? Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Come on. I'm going to stay here for another 30 minutes and just head home and get back on the computer. So I'm still working on my Spanish conversation book. The cookbook I have not touched in a while, which is a no bueno. I'm going to finish the Spanish booklet first. Then put it on the website. Put it on Kindle, Amazon, and then go onto the cookbook. The cookbook's going to take a lot longer because I really am going to need an illustrator and someone to really make sure, because I'm going to have a hardcover and then I'm going to have ebooks. Probably the ebooks are going to be the different types of food. I can have an ebook about soups, an ebook about salad, one ebook about curries, and not dessert. I'm not a dessert person, but we can do some fruit salad here and there. Yeah, something healthy. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. God bless you. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. And my students, I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Au revoir. Bye. I love you.